for the presentation, they're presenting what they came up with for their targeting system. They had to modify them and make the attachments. So they took the camera, the stock camera off the Phantoms that came with it, and they attached an FPV fixed camera with a laser that they had to figure out how they were going to trigger the laser to be able to shoot, how they were going to attach it to the FPV camera, how they were going to sight it in, how they were going to power everything because the voltage was different. Were they attaching 3 separate batteries? What were they using to turn that laser on and off? How they were using a separate remote. So the oral presentation was all about the targeting system that they created, what they built, why they built it the way they did, what struggles they ran into, and how they solved those problems.
So the way it works is we're powered by 8 AA batteries in sets of 4. So these 2 packs is wired up in series and in parallel. The series connection powers this, since this needs about 12 volts to be powered. And then to fire the laser, there was a bit more difficulty. Since PWM and it's a bunch of pulses, we couldn't wire the laser straight into it. Or else the laser would shoot a bunch of lights or flicker when we try to fire it. So instead what we did was wire up one of the channels to this microchip right here. And this reads the pulse width, and when the pulse gets to a certain length, max throttle, it turns on a IO pin on here that fires the laser. And it's programmed, so when you hold the throttle, it fires the laser for a quarter second and doesn't fire it again for another 3/4 of a second. So we don't accidentally shoot multiple times. And then on top of it, we have a 3D printed piece that we made. It's basically a long pole that this servo connects to that handles pitch. And the reason why we did this is so that we can move the camera's orientation without moving its position. Because if we placed the camera where the servo was at, the camera would have waved forward and back in move position, which would make it a lot harder to aim.
We had to redesign this. This is our second design, because our first design we had 2 battery packs like on the sides, and all these components were all on the front. And so when we flew it, it crashed into a wall and flipped upside down, and it kind of ruined our blades. And so we had to redesign it so that we could find its center of gravity and place all these components so that it levels out, it's stable.